name is Julia and welcome to my channel. This week I decided I want to try doing something a little different. I am going to be doing a reading vlog, but I decided it would be fun to have it themed. In one genre I feel like I don't hear that much about on like BookTube or BookTok is superhero novels, so I'm going to read superhero novels for a week. I already started The Perfect Run. I started it early because I thought it would be a whole month-long read because of the page count on iBooks, which is ridiculous. I don't know why it's that long. The actual physical copy is only like 500 pages. I started The Perfect Run and so far it's exceeded my expectations. I really, really enjoy it. For those of you who don't know, The Perfect Run is about this superhero named Quicksave. And I say superhero, he's more just super powered, where he has this ability that works like a video game file where he can save at a point in time. And then like later on when he dies, he can go back to that point in time and kind of keep reliving it, but changing things so that he can affect the outcome of what he wants to happen. And the beginning was a little bit, as an amateur author, even I could recognize that the author had a little bit of a problem like dictating every single detail to the reader. But that was after like a chapter or so, like I didn't even notice that anymore. I was just having a blast like with the reading experience. It's been really interesting. Also, I think what makes it is that it focuses so much on the main character. His personality can be pretty much summed up by,
I have crippling depression.
He is not handling things well, and I am here for it. He's actually really funny. There are a lot of references, most of which I get. I think a few of them have gone over my head, but it's just really enjoyable and I'm loving it so far. I wasn't expecting much from it. Where we're at right now, it is still kind of a long book, and there are a bunch of subplots that are all interwoven together, and I'm enjoying it. I feel like it's kind of masterfully written. Well, I wouldn't say masterfully. It's really well written, the way everything connects, like in the foreshadowing elements already that I'm seeing. I feel like this book does seem to be kind of long where I'm at. I don't know how it's going to go for that long. Right now I'm really enjoying it though. It is a new day. It's actually been a couple of days, but I've been kind of busy with school, so I haven't had too much of a chance to read. I did start after the Golden Age, and I have not gotten far at all. I think I've only gotten like 10 pages in. So far it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, so I might pause that book for a bit while I pick up something else instead. I've been eyeing Ex-Heroes, so I might pick that up next. I'm still loving The Perfect Run, surprisingly. I'm almost halfway through, and it's really interesting because I feel like the book is really complex. There are some things that recently popped up in the book that I'm not sure, like I'm waiting to see how they play out. Because at the moment I feel like I might not like the way they play out, but overall I love all the characters and there are a lot of characters. So each time like I was thinking, oh maybe I should pick up another book, I kept thinking about this one and I'm like, but I really enjoy what's happening. So right now I'm probably going to either do some stuff. I might do some journaling. I'm not sure if I'm going to record that. And then I might read some more. So I will see you soon. Okay, so I haven't gone far into Ex-Heroes, but I just want to comment that the first chapter was interesting, but it was told in third person and it was okay. And then the second chapter is told in first person and I instantly got sucked into the story. Also, whoever this main character is who's speaking in first person, their name is George Bailey, which the book comments on, and I just think that's hilarious. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm probably going to take a break now. few days. I didn't really update what I've been reading over the weekend because it was Easter weekend and I was just really busy. Okay, I have been able to read quite a bit since I last updated you though. And I have a bunch of thoughts. I've gotten about 73% of the way through After the Golden Age. And I think I forgot to mention this last time I talked about it, but this book is actually about a young woman named Celia West who comes from a family of superheroes. Before I started reading the book, I wasn't sure, but something must have happened because once she grows up, she wants nothing to do with that kind of life and she becomes an accountant, which was hilarious to me because I am an accounting major. I have lots of thoughts about this one. I'm also about 35% of the way through X Heroes, and I'm not enjoying that one as much as I thought I would. As for After the Golden Age, this one I have a lot of thoughts. It's kind of the opposite of X Heroes for me. X Heroes, to me anyway, is written really well, but it's not super interesting to me right now personally. After the Golden Age is kind of interesting, but it is not written very well in my opinion. I was enjoying it more towards the beginning. There's this part in the book where she tells her dad that she's doing forensic accounting, and her dad says, "Forensic accounting? I've never heard of such a thing." And that just made me laugh because until recently I didn't really know that much about forensic accounting either. And one of my best friends recently asked me, and I told her essentially what forensic accounting is. And for those of you who don't know, forensic accounting is essentially investigative accounting, usually in for courtrooms and legal accounts. I just thought that was hilarious. Now, for me personally, I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of mixed feelings, I should say, about this book. Pretty much every single character in After the Golden Age has annoyed me at some point. The main character has annoyed me, the love interest has annoyed me, her best friend has annoyed me, her parents separately have annoyed me. There are just maybe 2 characters in the entire book who haven't annoyed me at any point. Again, it's not that bad, I'm just ranting. If it was super bad, I probably would have DNF'd it by now. But the thing is, there's also this point in the book where something about her past was revealed out in the open, and the main character was just super dumb about the way she handled everything, so I was really annoyed. But then the way her friends reacted to it, particularly her boyfriend and her best friend, I was just so upset because it was a mistake that happened when she committed when she was a teenager. She was young, she was stupid, whatever. And it's been 10 years since then. And her best friend just found out. And I was okay, I can excuse the boyfriend. They just met recently, so I'm I understand why he's overreacting a little bit. But then her best friend, who's known her for years, is not for me personally, if my best friend hid a huge secret like this from me, I would be more upset over the fact that she felt like she couldn't tell me than over what she did. Whereas in this book, her best friend is how could you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And then she, ignores her and doesn't talk to her for, forever. And I'm what the heck? It wasn't even I'm upset that you didn't tell me. It was how could you do this? And in my opinion, what she did wasn't the worst thing ever. And it was just, again, something she did when she was a teenager. She was stupid. Teenagers are stupid sometimes. It was a mistake that happened when she was really young, and it just feels weird the people she cares about the most were not supporting her through this. And I feel that's more on the author's part, because it felt like the author just did that to kick up more drama. Also, there's this weird part where there's another love interest who entered the picture. He was in a bunch of the book, and after a bit I was is he another love interest? I couldn't tell because their ages are super iffy. When they first met, she was apparently in high school, and it's unclear how old he was. I think he was in college, and I was I kind of ship them, but at the same time, I don't know, I have really mixed feelings about this. It feels more she keeps ranting to him, and then he'll listen and help her, but then she doesn't, she's not there for him emotionally sometimes. It's really weird because it seems he doesn't have problems, or there aren't any issues. If If he does have personal issues, they're not discussed in the book, which kind of makes the relationship feel more one-sided. And then there's the weird, I don't know how old like the age gap is between them, and it's kind of weird that he met her while she was in high school, and it sounds like he was a little bit older. And at first I was like, is it just me? Because I do tend to just like chip things like crazy. But then like I kept reading and I'm like, oh no, they are. Like the author hinted very strongly that they have feelings for each other or whatever, and now I'm just really confused because I don't know how to feel about this, and I have mixed feelings. I feel like he is better than the other love interest, but at the same time, like, there are just some questionable moral things about the relationship, so I feel conflicted. Also, like, the way it was revealed felt very weird, and it felt very forced, so I'm like, which is weird because the rest of their relationship felt super natural to the point where like I couldn't tell if it's a really good platonic relationship or not. And now I don't know how to feel. Anyway, this book I feel like is a mess, but I'm here for the drama, I guess. I'm still reading The Perfect Run, and out of the 3 books I'm reading right now, it is the one I'm still having the most consistent fun with. I think I mentioned this in a previous update. I was a little worried that like some of the characters would fall a little flat, but oh my gosh, I'm loving and it's not just the main character I'm loving him the most, but that's, I feel like, a good sign. But also like all the side characters, like even the ones I thought wouldn't have depth, get depth added later on in different loops and stuff, and it's just masterfully written at this point. Like I'm reading it and I'm like, this might be one of my favorites, if not of all time, then for the genre. And also, like, the main character might make it onto my favorite characters list. I'm just really loving him, and I'm really enjoying the story. I also recently looked it up and learned that I think this book is actually a part of a trilogy, and I feel like I'm only halfway through, and a lot has happened. A lot has been crammed into this small amount of, like, I don't know, whatever. And I'm just not sure, like, how it's going to... I don't know how the author can pull it into like a trilogy, but I do have faith because I was looking on Goodreads and apparently like all their books have like a minimum like 4-star average rating on Goodreads, which is pretty high. So I might be checking out more of their other works, and I've just been overall really pleasantly surprised with this book. So that is the end of my update for now. I will probably check in. I'll read more later on today. I'm going to try and finish After the Golden Age today, but I still have a lot of homework I have to do, so I don't know how far I'll get. I will probably update you guys again either way later on. Okay, so I finished After the Golden Age earlier today, and I just got back from visiting one of my friends. I feel like, bottom line for After the Golden Age, it wasn't the worst, but my previous opinions and rants still stand. Obviously, I finished it, so it wasn't the worst, but I'd give it like a 2.9 stars. It's really not that great, and I feel like the premise of the main character being an accountant from a family of superheroes was kind of wasted on the actual story, since a big theme in the book seemed to be fame and how the main character comes from a family that's really famous and generally people gravitate towards her parents. So it would have been more interesting if I feel like it had been more realistic and she had come from like a family of celebrities and the author had written it more along those veins. I feel like that would have made a much more compelling story. Anyway, bottom line, it's okay. I'm going to keep reading X Heroes and The Perfect Run. I'm really, really enjoying The Perfect Run so far. So yeah, also I hope you like my shirt. Howl's Moving Castle is one of my favorite movies, so yeah, I think I have a few other things to do, and then I'll probably update you more after I've read some more. This vlog might end up being longer than a week because I've only finished one book so far, but I will keep you posted. Okay, so it has been several days later, but I've been super busy. I made bread, I made strawberry syrup and matcha, I made overnight oats, I made more bread, I made more overnight oats, and I made a green tea cheesecake blondie. I've been really busy with baking and with school, and I haven't been able to read that much. I did, however, finally finish The Perfect Run. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because essentially all the things I said previously still hold up. I thought I recorded me finishing The Perfect Run, but I guess I didn't. And essentially, I loved it. It was amazing. I DNF'd X Heroes because I just wasn't getting into it. I got like 35% of the way through it, and I realized it's not that it was a bad book, I just didn't enjoy like most of the stuff that was happening in the present tense. I think I mentioned in a previous update that X Heroes was told in 2 tenses. It showed what was happening now to all the characters, and then it went back in time and explained how they each essentially became superheroes. And personally, I just enjoyed seeing how they became superheroes way more than what was actually going on in the present tense. And that the present tense of what was going on with the zombie apocalypse or whatever was most of the book. So that's the part I didn't like. As for The Perfect Run, oh my gosh, I love it. It's not perfect, but in my heart it is perfect. 5 stars. 5 stars. That's all I'm going to say. I loved it. Really. I think my only critiques is there were some iffy like magic system stuff, but I say iffy lightly. I've seen some iffy magic systems, and this for the most part made a lot of sense, and I actually liked it more than I thought it would. Yeah, my only other main critique is that I was a little confused by like the choice of the love interest at the end, because I thought I recorded more of my thoughts, but I think I just remembered telling my best friend about it. There were essentially like 3 different love interests throughout the entire thing. And I really thought it was going to be one of them. And I'm like, okay, I'm for it. I just don't understand how we're going to get there. I kind of like that it wasn't her because she was just not mentally in a place to have like a romantic relationship. And I like that the author saw that and didn't make them end up together. And then like there was the second love interest, and I loved her. I felt like they just meshed together so well, but at the same time I understand like why they didn't end up together. But then like the final love interest, I was a little confused because it feels like out of all 3 of them, I feel like she meshes with him not very well compared to the other 2, and they just feel so different. But I'm not mad because I do really like her. She's a great character, and their interactions are fun. Yeah, it was fantastic though. Even at the end, like the main character, he's my favorite. I loved the themes. I loved that it made me feel things. And I loved how funny it was as well. But even there were little small details that were foreshadowed from like way early on in the book. It was just fantastic. I love it. It's 5 stars, and I give out my 5 stars very hesitantly. The last book I gave 5 stars was Jane Eyre, which is my favorite book of all time. All the other books, like, I may have given like 5 stars on Goodreads, but that's only because Goodreads doesn't give like in between. I feel like Before I Fall was excellent, but it doesn't reach 5 stars. Like, I feel like it's a modern classic, but my personal enjoyment, and I really liked it, just wasn't 5-star material. And I ended up giving that one like more like a slightly lower score of like 4.9 stars, like almost, but not quite. With The Perfect Run, I have to give it 5 stars. I just enjoyed it way too much not to. I think it's freaking fantastic. It's a new all-time favorite. I gave it 5 stars. Loved it. I'm going to be checking out this author's other books as well. Hello, Editing Julia here. So,
You know how earlier in the video I mentioned I was really surprised that The Perfect Run had such a long page count? Well, I was on Goodreads and I was looking at, I finished the first one, I really liked it, so I was looking at the second and the third, and I was reading their descriptions, and I realized that sounded a lot like the stuff I had already read. So I double-checked, and yes, apparently the version I downloaded and read is the entire trilogy, which is why it took me so long. I'm not mad. In fact, I actually feel better because it felt like I really enjoyed it. It just felt like it took me forever to finish it. And now I realize I actually read 3 books instead of 1. And the combined page count for all 3 of them is 1,500 pages. So I feel pretty good about myself reading that much in just about 3 weeks. Also, it's kind of funny.
I did start, however, last night reading Every Heart a Doorway, and I am almost all the way done. I don't know if you can see my bookmark. And so I decided to add this book to the reading vlog because it's really short and it will be really easy to add. So far, I really liked the beginning. It was very whimsical. In case you haven't watched my April TBR, this is essentially a book about girls who have been to other fantasy worlds, like Lucy from Narnia and Alice in Wonderland from Alice in Wonderland, and essentially about their return to normal life and how they go to Miss West's home for children to try and make the transition back to normal life easier. And so far, I do like it, but the beginning was more my favorite because it was very whimsical. Where I'm at now, there's been a lot of gruesome deaths. I wouldn't say that hampered my enjoyment of it. I'm pretty sure I know who the murderer is. We just got a really strong hint and I'm like, I knew it! I knew it! Now I'm certain it is this person. So if it is, I can't wait to read the little bit left to see if I was right or not. So far, it's okay. The beginning was my favorite, and at the beginning I was like, okay, this is 5-star material. But then it got really dark. I don't really think that's what I wanted from this book, I guess. It's still good. It's just not my preference. I feel like this would appeal to people who like darker, thrillers, more horror-esque elements. It's still not a horror because it just has some elements like that in it. But I have 20 pages left, so it will be done really quickly, and I will let you know what I think. I knew it! I was right! Okay, so the way it ended was interesting. I thought the climax would be a bit more difficult and I was legitimately sweating there, but it was over so quickly. Also, I know this book touches a lot of people, but quite frankly, it didn't hit for me. I didn't tear up at all at any point in the story. I'm okay with the way it ended, but at the same time, it just feels like it's kind of encouraging people to be a little bit selfish, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel about it. I know there are more books and this is only the first book in the series, but I think it kind of ended for the main character we're following from the beginning to the end. It was okay. I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. I just was expecting a little bit more though. That marks the end of my April reading vlog. It's been a long time. I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out some of my other videos and let me know if you have read these books and what you thought of them. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!